Thanks for joining us on the news at 7. We're live at the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in Abuja, where the anti-graft agency invited the suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, for questioning over alleged payment of 585 million naira grant meant for vulnerable groups in Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Ogun, and Lagos states into a private account. And Celestina, who is on standby at the EFCC headquarters in Abuja, joins me on the news. Celestina, we know that she has been invited by the EFCC and you are at the headquarters. What more can you tell us at this moment? All right, we do not have Celestina at the moment. When we do, we'll get update on this development at the EFCC headquarters. But just before her invitation by the anti-graft agency, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation was suspended by President Bola Tinubu, and a panel was set up to investigate the allegation against her. Now, after her suspension, the minister was denied access to President Tinubu at the presidential villa. This vehicle ferried her out of the villa. She was unable to meet the president. These are images of the minister's car at the villa.
And the president is going to ensure that nothing at all will get in the way of that investigation being conducted in a fair and transparent manner, and in a way that Nigerians would have full confidence that whatever conclusion is arrived at is based only on the merits of the investigation and of the facts on ground. The president is more concerned with the thoroughness of the investigation. He's more concerned with the diligence of the investigation and the reliability of the findings and outcomes of the investigation.
And State House correspondent Femi Akonde joins me on the news to discuss the suspension of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. Femi, you and I spoke at 6 p.m. and you had told us, about how she has been suspended, and then, that she was at the villa as well, and the president refused to see her. But I want you to talk to us about the panel that was set up and the scope of the investigation and the tasks before them.
Yes, the panel set up by the president to investigate allegations leveled against the now suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, we hear was headed by the coordinating Minister of the Economy and Minister of Finance, Wale Edu. We do not have full details about all other people that constituted that panel or that made up that panel. But we know that the president had given them that express directive to ensure that this matter is thoroughly investigated. But for now, Betta Edu has not been indicted. This is just a suspension to allow further investigation continue, because so that her occupying the office will not impede on the assignments given to these committees set up by the president to unearth all allegations leveled against Betta Edu, to determine if indeed she's culpable. And if she is found culpable, then the president will determine his next line of action. He has also directed the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission right now to begin a full-scale investigation. We also understand that before today, the EFCC had actually been investigating several allegations in that ministry, allegations linked to the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, as the ministry was called at that time under President Muhammadu Buhari, and also, the head of the National Social Investment Program, who was also suspended by President Bola Tinubu, was also under investigation before they further spread their net and eventually had to suspend Betta Edu to allow more investigation continue into all of these allegations, because Nigerians are asking questions. We know that this Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation had huge funds budgeted even in the 2024 budget, because these are funds meant to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians. The goal has been to lift 100 million people out of poverty. So these monies are for the poor people, the poorest of the poor. This ministry has over time been introducing different programs and interventions targeted at alleviating the sufferings of Nigerians, especially now with the removal of fuel subsidy which the impact of this has been biting hard on a lot of Nigerians. So this ministry was expected to also be up and doing in ensuring that all of these sufferings is reduced. So Nigerians were really shocked, to hear all of these allegations of fraud and all of that happening in that ministry that is supposed to provide succor for poor Nigerians. And like President Bola Tinubu has said that his administration will improve the fortunes of Nigerians, and that's what he has been trying to do through that ministry. And that's why we are seeing the way he has acted in being decisive in handling this particular issue. Precious.
And Femi, in terms of the way the president acted, there are two sides to the story. Some people say that she was already at the presidential villa when her suspension was announced, not that she came in after the suspension to see the president. But others say she came in after the suspension to see the president and then he did not see. I just wanted you to clarify that for us as well.
Well, I can't categorically say exactly when she came into the villa, but when that suspension was announced, I can tell you authoritatively that Betta Edu was in the presidential villa. Of course, we believe she was making attempts to see the president, get an audience with the president. But when she came into the villa, I can't categorically say, but it's possible that she would have also gotten her own intelligence reports suggesting that the president is about to wield the big stick and suspend her to allow for more investigation. So she tried to see if maybe she could get an audience with the president. But when that announcement was made public, Betta Edu was in the presidential villa. Well, we do not know what will happen after now if she's found guilty. If that investigative committee indicts her, then yes, she would have to be eventually shown the way out of the president's federal cabinet.
Absolutely, Femi. It's always very important to say that, look, these are just allegations at the moment until she's proven guilty or not guilty by that panel. Thank you so much for that update, our correspondent, Femi Akonde, live for us in the nation's capital. Now, the minister was alleged to have approved over 585 million naira meant to be disbursed into a personal account. The president directed the EFCC Chairman, Ola Olukoyede, to conduct a thorough investigation into all aspects of the financial transactions involving the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Now, these are the reactions of Nigerians after the suspension of Betta Edu and the process for the invitation.
It's a right development because the president is just coming into power. We have 1 year to assess him fully, and he has to start on a very good note. The diversion of money, well, is a very bad thing to do by the minister who has just been appointed. And if eventually investigation is being concluded and we find out it is true, well, the president has taken the right direction and the right step, suspending while investigation is still on, which is a very good thing to do. Unlike what we have in the former regime, where series of scandals, nobody is talking, nobody is removing anybody, nobody is suspending anybody. Look at the former Minister of Aviation. What of the investigation labeled against him? What has been done? Well, it's not part of Tinubu's government, but presently it's still APC government. We believe the presidency can still extend that very particular long arm of the law to that very particular personality and other notable Nigerians who have been in this act for a very long time. We hope to see a better things to come in days ahead.
No, it's an allegation right now until court said that the woman is guilty. But the decision making by the Mr. President is a good decision in the right direction. Because there is an allegation, because the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs has messed up. They need sanity in that ministry, and the ministry is young. So as a result of that, for the record to be set straight, the suspension of the Betta Edu is a good thing that happened to Nigeria. Like before, they will be telling the president that they should suspend some ministers that do not perform. They will not listen. But this president is a listen-year president. And this decision is okay by me. as a person.